welcome to That's Good Craic.
With me, Dan, Colin.
Oh yes, what's the crack?
And Mick.
Yo, yo, yo.
Listen to our podcast every Wednesday.
All right, welcome to podcast number 9 of That's Good Craic. What's the crack, lads? How are you?
What's the crack?
What's the crack, Danny boy?
What's the bleeding story? So how was your week? I believe you went touring at the weekend.
A bit of crack over the weekend, all right, yeah?
Where'd you buzz up to?
Ripping it up in Dublin.
Up to the Big Smoke. For those listening, it's the capital of Ireland, Dublin.
It's a big event. It's a big event for us farmers. You know what I mean?
An hour and a half from the sticks.
It's a big ordeal for us to even give us our own day in Dublin to go Christmas shopping. Do you know that?
How did you find the bright lights, lads? Because they always freak me out.
It was some crazy shit, man.
Yeah, we went to a Chinese restaurant and it was amazing. It's kind of like they have it done up like the inside of a train. What's the name of it, Colin?
Chiang Dai or something like that. I can't remember exactly.
No, it's not
So
that.
it was Chiang Dai, yeah.
It was something like China.
I have a picture.
Just thinking of that name.
Yeah.
The Chiang Dai.
But the food, man, was amazing. Absolutely amazing. It's done up like the inside of a train, and then it's all neon lights and everything like that.
Oh, I take it back. Hang Dai.
Nice one. And and then as we were finishing up there after eating way too much, we did a whole course too much. Colin wasn't happy with leaving without getting the face burnt off him by something, you know. And I was like stuffed. But anyway, we just about got that finished. And up on social media, we'd heard about this non-alcoholic bar that has opened up in Dublin.
Ireland's first one.
What was that like?
People had said it's akin to trying to sell bags of sand in the Sahara Desert, having a non-alcoholic bar in Ireland, but not us. We were ready to support it all the way. It was brilliant, really cool, man. You know, went across. It was a nice. It's very much like a wine bar kind of vibe. They had like non-alcoholic beer, wine. They had a cocktail waitress, and. What else was there? There was they had coffee on tap. For people that don't know, if you've seen Guinness being pulled, Guinness is pulled and it's a light brown colour and then it settles to black with a white head. And the coffee, they have a tap, a beer tap that does the same, but coffee comes out, nitro coffee. So we had some
nitro coffee.
Yeah.
I've never heard. Was the coffee good, like, or was it just like a gimmicky kind of thing?
It was watery, but it was strong. Like, you know what I mean? It's the taste wasn't that strong. But Colin had the right idea. He just took a sip because it was like 11 o'clock at night, and of course I drank the whole thing. But it's cool, fantastic.
I wasn't gonna knock down fucking. It was called Nitro Coffee. Even the word Nitro, it looked like a Guinness, like it looked like a glass of Guinness, so it was kind of harmless. Like you're looking at it and going, oh, that looks, you know, let's try it. You know what I mean? Then you taste it and it's proper, hardcore fucking coffee at 11 o'clock at night. And I was just thinking, talk about bang of anxiety all night long over drinking that much coffee.
I turned around to Colin and was like, you having that, you know, just like, seeing he had something there. But no, it's cool, it's a great idea.
Did you stay or did you?
No, it's hilarious when people say that. Like, you know, it's it's an hour's drive back. You know what I mean? When you're sober, that's the gifts of being sober. It's not that big a deal. Just get in the car, just drive home. You know. So no, we didn't stay up there. Just just drove home after. You know.
It was quite an interesting experience. Quite an interesting experience for me. Because I do like finding non-alcoholic drinks in different places, you know, and we were just after coming from Hang Dai when we asked him had he any non-alcoholic drinks, and he kind of looked at me and goes, elderflower water. You know what I mean? You know,
quite nice that actually.
It's fucking amazing. Don't get me wrong, I ain't knocking it.
It was a cocktail bar though. They could have done a bit more than.
I know it was €8.
Water, yeah.
So €8. I'd say so, yeah.
I was just there. No, the water will do fine. Cheers.
But the Hang Dai, or no, sorry, in that, what's the name of it again, Mick? The Virgin
Mary. Yeah.
Fucking awesome name, man.
isn't it? Yeah,
brilliant name. I love it. But I found it. Am I allowed to be honest here? Or,
no, you're not allowed to be honest. That's propaganda.
Just lie about everything.
when I say this, I'm not complaining.
Okay.
Well, that's a but.
It's not a complaint, because I'm really happy that there is this kind of thing now. I like it. I think it's progressive. I loved it. We were chatting to some people there that were drinkers, but just don't like to drink all the time. You know, it was a cool experience. However, though, if I could say one thing that kind of disappointed me about it a bit, is that the from what I was told in there, now not me assuming it, that the people that are owning it are drinkers, and it's I kind of assumed it was a passion project, you know. It was something, someone, and not just to try and make a few quid out of it. That's what do you think, Mick? Be honest.
I think you're being honest. What my take on it, I suppose I wasn't at this point, because I read the article in the Times before, and I realised, like you mean, that's what it was. And I think it's a very personal thing, where it's like you'd like to be able to relate, and you're kind of like, oh yeah, you know, that it was just something that they always wanted to do. And I just think, listen, it's cool. Like, you know, if they can facilitate it, and it is cool. Like, you know what I mean? It would be cooler. Like, you know what I mean? Probably, like, it would be a bit cooler, like, for us, just on a personal level, being non-drinkers, to kind of go, oh yeah, they don't drink either. But I really, like, you know, I've thought about it, and it's not that big a deal. It would have been nicer, but you know, it's cool.
Yeah, it's not something that would deter me from going, or even think anything bad. I'm just saying I assumed that before I went up, you know, which was yeah, but I had a great time. I really liked it. They gave me a glass of non-alcoholic wine, which I never ever tasted before, which I hated wine when I was younger, but actually that tasted all right. I don't think it even tasted like wine. I'm not sure.
It did. Yeah, it did. It tastes pretty winey, like, you know what I mean? You would.
Yeah, but it was soft. I remember drinking wine when I was fucking young, like. And
yeah, but that shit wine, man. Like, you know what I mean? The wine that was around back in the day, like, that you would have been swigging out, like, you know what I mean? It wouldn't have been like, you know, that's a great vintage. But
€3 a bottle.
Yeah, that's cooking wine, you know. It's like, it's not the same thing, bro. But yeah, no, it was nice, and it was interesting. Like, it's something I never thought of. Like, there was actually people there that, like, you could tell their faith. Like, you could tell they were Muslim. Like, and you know, the Muslim in the Muslim faith, they don't drink. And there was some Muslim women there coming in and getting some cocktails and things like that. So I just thought that was interesting as well.
No, it's cool, man. I hope it works out. I really do, because I would visit it when I go back, and maybe go back at 4:00 in the day when it opens, and have one of those nitro coffees and actually see, is it fucking nitro or not? You know?
No, I did. Listen, I'll be honest with you. Like, it was like, I suppose it was about an hour and a half before I got home, and after drinking it, and yeah, I was still alert. You know what I mean? It was
all the housework done.
No, I wasn't that alert, dude. It'd take more than nitro coffee, but yeah, no, like, you know, but definitely it does exactly what it says on the tin. There's no, because as you know, I drink a lot of coffee, and it definitely. So
listen, here's the game plan, right?
Okay.
Here's our goal for 2019/2020. That's good Craic non-alcoholic bar.
Yeah.
We'll open one in Tenerife, which would be closed down after about 2 weeks, and then we can open one in Carlo, which would be closed down after 1 week.
I'll be honest with you, you probably stand a good chance of something like that working here, because there is drinking here in a culture, but it's they're more into the socializing without alcohol as well. Do you know what I mean? It's very much, I know you probably you've seen the certain parts of here that are like very much, you know, party, but there's a lot, you know, a lot of things kind of revolve around coffee shops and stuff like that. So that whole nitro tap might go down well here. You never know.
Just a quick while we're actually, I think it's quite an interesting topic. I don't want to jump in, just thinking of something there. Since I've kind of been doing the That's Good Craic Instagram account.
Yeah.
I see lots and lots of people drinking non-alcoholic beers. Lots of them, because the only people I follow are people sober, like living sober lives, you know. And what's your take on it? Because I know you had an interesting take on it, Danny. And
yeah.
No, but it's genuinely, it is a topic that can be kind of a bit awkward and stuff, you know. So I know here in Ireland it can be a bit awkward. I don't know about anywhere else.
Based on, firstly, I appreciate your honesty when you talked about the bar as well. So here's my honest take on what I used to think and what I still partially think, but something you said recently made me think kind of in a different way when we're out having cocktails.
Hold on, but Mick gave me a good counter argument for that one as well. So
yeah, but let Danny say his thing. You know what I mean?
Okay. So for me, people say to me, you know, I drink what do you think of non-alcoholic, or what's it called, NA beer as they call it. I used to always there was a thing the thing was always people say to me, I'd say to them, look, fucking would you snort non-cocaine cocaine, you know what I mean, because it's a similar action and the taste of beer. But you pointed out to me the other day I was fucking drinking a mojito without alcohol, but I never drank mojitos with alcohol, but I was drinking it, and you said, well, that's a non-alcoholic kind of cocktail, and I was like, well, that's a good point, yeah. So the other thing that kind of concerned me about a lot of non-alcoholic beers, if you actually look at them, some of them have alcohol in them, small percentages, not enough to do anything, but you know what I mean. It's just I used to be very strict about it. Over the years, I've loosened up. I used to be very strict about a lot of things when I came into recovery first. And I don't want to go into the whole recovery thing, but I used to be very strict and very kind of regimental that this way works and there's no other fucking way. And, you know, over time, and as I get fucking older, I become more open-minded. And when someone says something like you said the other day, I do listen and I think, well, okay, that's a fairly fucking good point. You know what I mean? And I'd just be worried about people doing it in the early days. You know what I mean? You're just giving up alcohol and it's the primary one that you used for escaping reality, and you're going into some sort of recovery program, then I would say to you, it's not a good idea, because it's going to bring back euphoric recall.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. 100%.
But after your point the other day, my opinion has slightly changed, I have to say.
But that wasn't me telling you to go and get stuck into a crate of fucking Heineken 00.
I did the next day, funny enough.
Yeah, it's a fridge full of it.
Bottles all over the fucking house, man.
Yeah.
Because I started getting violent and all.
He was late for the podcast, trying to clean up the bottles from the background, yeah.
Oh, here, man. You fucked me up, man, because I haven't stopped since you left.
He had 0.3% bottles of alcohol. No, but for real, because I said this a guy asked me who's also sober the other day. He said, "Oh, what'd you get up to last night?" I said, "I went to a non-alcoholic bar and they gave me some non-alcoholic wine when I went in there and it's the first time I ever tasted it." And he went off on one about how that would trigger him. You know, how it would trigger him, how that would actually set him off. And he described in great detail, which I found hilarious, you know, about fucking flavors and just sending him wrong. And I do get that. For someone like me, I never drank, really. I did, but I didn't like it. It wasn't my thing. It wasn't a thing that I went to, you know?
Yeah.
I don't have that connection with beer or with anything like that, non-alcoholic cocktails, non-alcoholic wine. I don't have the same connection with making me want to drink or anything like that. I've never, after drinking a non-alcoholic drink, I've never ever wanted to have a real drink, like an alcoholic drink, after doing it. No, that's me. And I had 12 years without drinking or drugs, you know, but I would never say to someone, yeah, man, go crack in or try it or whatever, because everyone's different, you know, and 100% I know people that would trigger, it would send them fucking wrong. I do understand. But I just feel you can be quite judged about it. And I just found it fascinating because on the Instagram account, I see so many people putting up with, you know, they'll have Instagram accounts with sober or something, sober yogi, sober this, you know, and putting up pictures of non-alcoholic beer in the sunshine, you know, and I'd love to know, do they view it the same in different countries, like in America or in the States? I know we have a lot of American listeners. Do they view it the same? Because I know in Ireland it can be frowned upon. Maybe. Am I right in saying that, Mick?
Yep.
I was quite judgmental.
Definitely, yeah. Which are non-psychoactive cocaine. What the fuck is that? A line of talcum powder?
It is, man. It's fucking horrible. I tried it, man. I said, if everyone's doing a non-alcoholic beer, I'm doing fucking talcum powder.
lining up paracetamol and crushed it.
Creatine. Snorting creatine.
Just to make you feel like you're a part of it.
Oh yeah, man! I was in the parties with the bags of creatine. All right, lads, creatine. Yeah, no, I have to say, I was, and a lot less now after the conversation that we had. Quite judgmental when I used to say it. You know what I mean? But not to the extent I'm like, oh fuck's sake. Do you know what I mean? I just kind of, well, why are you doing that? You know what I mean? And I wouldn't let it fucking drill in my head. You know what I mean? We've got other things to be thinking about. Anyways, Mick, I want to hear your opinion on it.
Yeah, but just one quick before he says, isn't it funny how you're judgmental over that? Isn't it funny how someone can be judgmental over something like that? For what reason? That's all. No, Mick, I know you have a reason. So.
Yeah, I don't know if I have a reason. It's just more so like my insight into it, I suppose, is like it all depends on where you're coming from. You know what I mean? If it's somebody that, is giving up drink, for, health reasons, or, you know what I mean, lifestyle changes, or, just wanting to do it, it's not that big a deal. Well, then, non-alcoholic beer isn't going to be an issue. I know lots of people would have had serious issues with, and, wouldn't have gone near anything like non-alcoholic beer for years, and now they do, there's no problem. So people, like the people that I suppose I'd be judgmental about, Colin, are people who are involved with, say, trying to help people like stay off drink or stay off drugs, Yeah. And a lot of the time it's kind of like best practice. It's not like, it's not like, it's just a blanket ban. Well, some people it is. It's just the handiest thing to do. Say, listen, is it worth the risk? Some people would be triggered by it. How do you find out if you're that person? Yeah. You try it, you know what I mean? So when you try it, oh well, fuck, my bad, you know what I mean? I'm in the mental hospital again, you know what I mean? But it's like,
just let's clear something up there. You weren't in the mental hospital, because that sounded like you were.
Yeah, no, just forget it. Like, I've done a lot of shit. Let's be clear. I didn't end up there. No,
not yet.
I visited Danny there. I'm really messing around. It was like, but yeah, no, listen, that's where some people can end up. Some people can end up in jail. Some people can end up and these are the consequences of some people's drinking, you know what I mean? And so, the people who are going to be judgmental about that, generally speaking, are people who are on the front line with helping people with serious problems. So it's kind of like best practice. They're going, why take the risk? That would be a lot of things. The risk of yourself, you know what I mean, at 12 years doing it, like, you know what I mean, it's a lot different. You have a good sense of yourself and everything like that. The risks of me, you know what I mean, being triggered by something like that, you know what I mean, even though I would have had a very serious drink problem, very, like, you know what I mean, at this moment in time, the best I can say is very unlikely. My partner doesn't drink as well. She wouldn't like to smell a drink, you know what I mean? So I'm not going to be, because you would smell of it, like, I'm not going to be coming, like, doing the non-alcoholic beer thing, you know, the kind of way. I do like the non-alcoholic mojitos, have to admit. But one thing I will say, the difference is, non-alcoholic beer tastes like beer. Non-alcoholic mojitos do not taste like like alcoholic mojitos. But listen, it's like, I wouldn't promote it or demote it either way, you know what I mean? I just think if you're someone, like, it's different. If someone has a problem with this stuff, if you think that it would be a trigger, there's loads of other drinks, you know what I mean? If it's something that you'd be adamant, it wouldn't be very careful, but I definitely wouldn't be doing it like early days, you know what I mean? It's too much of a risk for the reward, you know what I mean? And you were a long time, Colin, before you did venture into that, you know, looking away, and you were very, like,
but even in saying that, it's not even, I'd be it wouldn't be common for me to do that, you know what I mean? It's a very odd time, like,
Yeah, but just around the judgment, I think when you say that, like, I wouldn't judge the people for judging. You know what I mean? They're looking at it from a different perspective. They're looking at it from like a perspective of total abstinence, and it's for people who have serious problems. Like, you know what I mean? If it's not that big an issue for people, like, you know what I mean? It's not an issue. But
the other thing that kind of for me was a big thing is like the reasons. A lot of things that from friends over the years and, you know, noticed, and I'm not talking about any of us here, it's people I've known over the years who had, you know, problems with alcohol, and they go out on a night out and we go out on a night out, and the reason that they're buying the beer is not the taste, not the pleasure of it, and, you know, the NA or the non-alcoholic beers, is for some reason it makes them feel like they fit in because they have something that looks like beer.
Yeah, that's not a mystery, Danny. Like, you know what I mean? That's just like, you know what I mean?
I just don't understand it.
Well, I can. It's not something I have to do. But like, if you're not comfortable with people asking you the questions, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, so you see someone and it's like, you know, they can be fucking, they can barely say a straight sentence, but all of a sudden they cop your obviously non-alcoholic drink, and it's like they're on it. They're like, you're not drinking. You know what I mean? Well, they will know it. And some people aren't comfortable with that. I am, you know what I mean? I have no issue, you know what I mean? But no, it's just not mystery. I'm not saying so, but I would understand why somebody would do that. It's just like, you know, then you don't have to get into that conversation, because even though you can be comfortable with it, I'd rather not have the conversation. I would rather not get into it. It's not something that I want, like, I'm particularly bored with talking about, to be honest with you. You know, but it wouldn't be a thing that, like, you know, that's just me. Like, I wouldn't question it as such. You know what I mean? I'd be kind of going, I can understand why some would do it. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like,
it's not that I don't understand it. It's that I you know,
you judge it.
No, I'm not. Yeah, I suppose it's kind of judgment, but it's more like it's not a reason to do it. You know what I mean? I understand why you would do it, but it's the same thing. Why risk drinking it if it's a problem that you had, as you said, and doing it for, you know, some sort of other reason? I understand people who drink it and say, I like the taste of this, I enjoy it. Like what Colin put across to me the other day, he says, I like the taste of non-alcoholic beer, and some beers he enjoys drinking them, not for any egotistical reason, not for any, I mean, it's a different thing obviously in the early days when someone is like, when they've given up and you know, they're not confident in themselves. But like, what I do understand is where Colin's come from. He enjoys the taste of it, so he has a drink of it. And I do understand why you would hold a bottle, because you feel uncomfortable with people asking you why you don't drink. Because, Jesus, I know only well how many times I've been asked, why aren't you drinking? You don't drink. How can you DJ and not drink? Da, 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 all the shit that comes with not drinking. So I do understand it. What I'm trying to say is, for me, it's not a great reason. Enjoying it and liking it is a great reason. Do you know what I mean? I understand that. You know what I mean? And not for the effect, because you like the taste of it. Like you said, I never drank mojitos with alcohol. I never really became, in any way, tried to drink anything like that. I drank Buckfast. I took lots of fucking drugs, and I did everything for effect, and I took the top shelf. But what I was trying to say is, I drink a mojito now, or a non-alcoholic pina colada, all non-alcoholic, and the taste is lovely. Do you know what I mean? And I do it for the taste.
They're delicious.
Yeah, they really taste good.
Just back to your other point, Danny. Like, again, like, if it's a case where drinking a non-alcoholic beer could be an issue, as in, like, sending you back drinking like alcoholic drinks, if it's someone that has a problem, well, then of course, if they're going to have take the risk of that just to feel comfortable in a social situation, well, then no, it's back to the same kind of argument of, if it's going to be that type of risk, you shouldn't take it anyway. Yeah. But if it is going to make someone feel more comfortable in the situation, I'm not saying that they like be sucking it through gritted teeth, like, I mean that they just hate it, but they're just there because, like, you know what I mean? Oh, Jesus Christ, I'm mad for a drink, like, you know what I mean? Because I'm drinking this. No, of course not. But if someone's going to feel more comfortable, they're going to be okay with it, rock on, you know what I mean? It's not. It's just a drink, you know what I mean? Yeah. But you know, for some people, it is a risk. You know what I mean? For some people, it is a risk and it's not worth taking. You know what I mean? But then there's many people that it isn't a risk. You know what I mean? And it isn't that big a deal, like, you know?
I've always been very proud of the fact that I don't drink when I'm in social situations. Always. I think it's, I don't know why. I just always been, I suppose I enjoy being that one person, I suppose. It's a lot easier drink than it is to not drink. You know, that kind of...
Because it takes courage.
It does take courage, yeah. But
it
just literally comes down to confidence. Like, I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks, you know, kind of in that situation.
On that note, like, man, the last while, like, I don't know what's going on for me. Like, I'm really struggling with social situations at the moment. Like, I don't know. I went out to a birthday party the other day, and I'm normally no problems. Been DJing for years. Went out. Didn't want to. I was like, we were standing at the bar, ordered a water because I'm doing this 16-8 that you recommended, and
you're drinking the water, Danny.
Yeah, drinking lots of water. Gallons and gallons of water.
Nice.
Goal number 1 achieved.
So I don't know, man. They're all sitting in a group, and I literally had that moment, like, I don't want to go over there. Like, do you know what I mean? And so I can, like, just over the last while, I've been noticing that when you're talking about social situations, I know what I have to do to sort it out, but it's just, I know what it's, I got the feeling, if it makes sense, I got the feeling that we talked about a while back in our earlier podcasts of feeling like not comfortable in social situations, which I haven't felt in a long time. It's almost like we talked about it. It's come up, do you know what I mean?
But is that not just normal, though? Is that just not normal to sometimes just feel a bit out of place, like in different situations? Fuck, man. There's lots of times when I do that, and it just comes down to I'm not in the mood.
Yeah, I think as well, like, Danny, it can be a thing where, I don't know if you can relate to this, but like for me, if there's a lot of change goes on in my life, you know what I mean? And like change can make you feel a bit insecure, you know, like, in a way, what's happening next, what's going, you know what I mean? So you're not, like, you know, for me, I don't have that, like, you know, solid feet planted on the ground, kind of know where I'm at, know what I'm doing. And that can be anything could trigger that, you know what I mean? And, you know, and then you end up in the situation and you're only aware of it then. It's not, you know, you're kind of like living a busy life, running around the place, and all of a sudden you're in this different situation, you know what I mean? And you've other things going on in your life that, like, you know, you're just not, the feet aren't planted on the ground. This has been my experience anyway. And then all of a sudden I can start feeling uncomfortable. I'm just kind of like, I'd much rather not have to go over and talk to those people. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know if you can relate, but that's where it
big time, man, 100%.
That's where it can kind of happen with me. But I find, you know what I mean, there's lots of things for me that I can do around that. You know, I find a great thing, man. In the mornings, if I get up and I do this thing, free writing, it's like, or morning pages, whatever you want to call it. It's where you write 3 pages of just like whatever comes out in your head. Like, you know what I mean? The 3
You still do that, Mick?
Yeah, on occasion, man. I don't do that. I did it for years, just so anyone's listening. I did it for years. It was a thing that, there's this book called The Artist Way, and it's kind of a way of tapping into, you know, tapping into kind of your artistic side, you know. And one of the key components of it is doing this free writing, where you wake up every morning. The first thing you do is you write 3 pages, and it just changed my life. You know, like, in a way, the clarity I got. It's a form of practical meditation as well. It just clears all the mumbo jumbo out of your mind, and it just totally the focus I get from it, the peace of mind, all those type of things. So Danny, it's just, you should try it. Do you know what I mean? For me, if I get to a point like that, if I start seeing things like that in myself, that's what I do. I just get the pen out and I'll start to write, and it hasn't failed me yet. It's actually an amazing way of dealing with it.
I actually think I'm going to do that. That sounds like a good idea.
Fantastic. Yeah, I have lots of my friends now that have struggled with anxiety, social situations, all that. Like, you know, I suggested it to them, and still to this day, like, you know, I mean, they've used it, you know.
What do you do with the paper?
Well, you can do whatever you want. You don't read it for at least 3 weeks. I never read it.
I don't want to read that shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. Imagine the movie you'd make out of it after 2
What
years.
I would do, though, what I would do, my way of that I kind of developed over the years was, if something came up in my writing, like, you know what I mean, that was something I needed to do, I'd quickly underline it and move on. And at the end, I would go back and make a list of the things that came up, and that would be my to-do list for the day. And these were things that were in the back of my mind rattling around all the time that I wasn't getting to. And just when I would do that, the clarity, the peace of mind, the things I would do, it's phenomenal. And like oftentimes, like friends that I put onto doing it, I'll be chatting to them, like we might have chatted in a while and they'll be saying, oh man, fucking, whatever, anxiety, didn't want to do this, blah, 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 whatever like that. I says, you doing the morning pages? It says, no, I haven't done it in months, man. It says, you should fucking try it. And they'll do it. And it's like, immediately it'll change things.
I'm going to start that tomorrow. That's a
goal. And it's 3 pages. Even if it's a copybook, I used to do 3 A4. But like if it's a smaller...
First thing in the morning.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I used to do it literally. There was times, right, when I was in college, and I used to get up at 5:20. And it'd take half an hour to do. I would literally like have the book beside the bed. I'd pull it onto my bed. I'd have my face on the pillow, scrubbing like illegible stuff onto, to get it done. But listen, I'm the type of guy, and I've said it before, I will try anything. It's got me in a lot of trouble in my life, but like, trying stuff now, what I mean? If I try positive stuff, I'll try anything, but unless I can see a marked effect and a consistent, positive effect, I won't continue it. And that has been one thing that like has never let me down.
But see, that's what I love about people like chatting to guys like you and being friends with you, and is that you're always looking to improve. Always looking to improve. Always looking, how can I live happier and more peaceful? Like, I don't think that's something everyone is lucky enough to have to do in their life, or have to question it, or even have friends that they can, as a man as well, it's I think in Ireland anyway, I just know from growing up here, it's not something that people would have done as kind of men would share, like proper stuff, not like stuff that matters to your mind, it wouldn't be as common, and I always feel kind of fortunate. I've learned a lot from what you just said. I think that would help me a lot. Absolutely. I think that would clear my head first thing in the morning, because I ain't good in the morning.
Yeah.
You fucking know that.
I can guarantee you that's what it is, man. See, there's a fog of just mumbo jumbo that's in your mind, that your conscious positive thoughts has to get through before you can function in that space, and it's just rubbish, and it's like a fog that's there, and it can take so much to get through it, or you mightn't. It can just be this kind of haze that kind of hangs around with you all day, but definitely as a practical way of dealing with that stuff, I haven't come across anything that has dealt with it. I've done other work on myself, I've done other systematic work of going in and looking at my past and doing all that type of stuff, and that's been amazing. But as a practical day-to-day thing, that has been the best.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That kind of podcast went off on its own little tangent there, didn't it? I've really enjoyed this, actually, chatting about this kind of thing, because it's been very practical. I would love to hear from other people. About the non-alcoholic drinking and their social situations, and have they drank non-alcoholic drinks before? I mean, like beers or wines or cocktails or what? And has it triggered someone? Has it not? Can you do it socially or whatever? Because it is something that there is a little bit of stigma attached to it. And I'm glad that we kind of, I don't know if you'd call it a debate, but had a chat about it, because I think it's useful information.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's interesting. You kind of hit on their goals. And goals in non-drinking and achieving things, and we talked about things that we do, and I liked what you said, Colin, about people that are open-minded to try new things and see how, forever trying to improve their lives. I mean, for me, one of the biggest changes in my life was probably, going from being unfit to getting to fit to some sort of fitness level, you know what I mean, and doing the fight training. And it's just bringing me back to one massive memory for me was running a marathon, and I remember setting that goal for myself and just saying, I'm going to do that, do you know what I mean, and run the marathon, and set out 3 months of a training plan, and just bloody trained like a dog for 3 months and put everything aside, went through it and did the marathon in the end. And it's I can't remember who I was talking to, or I was talking to someone there last week or the week before, and we were talking about, yeah, do you know, I think it was a friend of yours actually, Colin. It was like, and another lad as well, about when we put, like, the determination I put into drinking and taking drugs was phenomenal. You know what I mean? And I think as people, when we put down drink or drugs or both, we can achieve some of the most amazing things when we put our minds to it. Do you know what I mean? If we put a focus in it and say, do you know what I mean? Like the stuff that you've done, Colin, the stuff that you've done, Mick, you've gone, right, I want to do this. I want to learn this, or I want to do that, or I want to try something new. And you put your mind to it. And, we very talented people, once we put down the drink and drugs. You know what I mean? I think it's my opinion anyways.
I think there's a couple of things for me. It's like, well, just on a practical level, if you stop using it, some people use daily, other people, can be a couple of times a week. You have whatever amount you'll use, and then you have the next day of, like, the effects, the after effects, being hungover, being whatever, and that's a lot of time. It's a lot of time that you can't be as productive, you can't be as focused, you can't be any of these type of things. And then there's stuff like we talked about before, that, like, a lot of the time people who use substances, detrimentally, I don't know what way to put it, they're obsessive people. It's kind of, I'm an obsessive person. If I get hooked on something, I'm gone. And just for me now, it's like, trying to get hooked on positive things, you know what I mean? Like, just jiu-jitsu, me health, the gym, whatever it may be, you know what I mean? I'll just link onto something like that and try not to let it be an issue or a problem. But no, I just think by giving up alcohol, drugs, it's like you just have so much more time, and your health. You can physically do more. Like, it's all round. It makes it that much easier to do.
Yeah, man. I think we're coming close to the end there, are we, Dan the man?
We are, yeah. So basically, I wanted to say something there, and my head's gone completely blank.
Sorry, man.
No, it's all right. No, it wasn't you. It was my head went blank.
That was you, yeah.
It was, definitely. Sorry, man.
Seriously, honestly, I was honestly, I went fucking blank, and I'm just trying to think. Yeah, so on the goals thing, like, basically, for me, like, yeah, it's just, it amazes me when I see all the different people that, stop drinking, and then all of a sudden, you see the changes in them. Do you know what I mean? The changes in the stuff that they achieve, like, that's what amazes me, like, you know what I mean? From someone that, literally had no will to live to completely, change it. And then people who aren't in a recovery decide, I'm going to stop doing this sort of stuff, you know what I mean? I'm not going to drink as much, and they start focusing on their health. Like, I've, in my hometown back in Ireland, I'd come and go, and I come back and I see someone, and someone that would have been maybe overweight, not looking after themselves, probably drinking at the weekends, and like, there's one lad in the town that he's not into a recovery program, and he's doing Ironman now, you know what I mean? And he was out partying every weekend, you know what I mean? He came seventh in some Ironman in America, which is a massive achievement. You know what I mean? And just to see, and then obviously different levels, but people just going to the gym and changing their lives and becoming more healthy. I think, we touched on it before. There's a massive movement here of crack.
Yeah, it's all positive, man. It's all good, because you don't have to have a drink problem. You don't have to be an alcoholic to take a break from it. Like, I do say that to people sometimes. Just take a month out. Because you can get just caught in a cycle of repetitiveness and monotony when it comes to drinking. It doesn't have to be that your life is fucking ruined. It just can be something that you're struggling with, to just want to start doing more stuff on the weekend rather than going drinking or whatever. So I've said to people, just take a month out, and if that amazing changes can happen in 1 month.
It's mad that you're talking about it. It's what something's clicking in my head here as you speak. A friend of mine, a good friend of mine, and his 40th birthday is coming up, and like, you know, he's not an alcoholic or anything like that, but recently he just like took into the gym and yoga and all this type of stuff, and he just cut back drastically on his drinking, like, you know, and like, so we've been chatting up and down about stuff like that, and like, as for his 40th, he had decided to do this. It's kind of like a hell and back thing. It's 8K of running through the mud, jumping over obstacles, doing all this type of stuff. So he was telling me about, and I don't do cardio as such, like, you know what I mean? It's just, it's not my thing. And when he said 8 kilometers, I was like, well, that's like turning around and saying, yeah, I'm like, I'm scaling Mount Everest for my birthday, and I'm just kind of going, that's really impressive, man, but I'm not like, you know, invite myself. But as you're speaking there, and I'm thinking about all this stuff, and I'm going, why the hell not? Like, it's a month away. I'm just going to get out. I'm setting the goal now on this, you know what I mean? So I'm going to be doing on the 15th of June, I think it is, something like that. Can't go back unless I'll just go back and edit this. I just come up, no, fuck it, I'm going to do it. But
it's funny, because as I was thinking to myself as well, because I know you said it to me there a while ago, and I said, no, I'm not doing that shit, you know. I love running. I love it.
Yes,
I love running so much, and I can, once I'm in the zone, once I get my body to that place, it usually takes me about a week to get my body back right, that I can, you know, really enjoy.
I said it to you as a runner, and I was expecting you to go, oh yeah, man, I do that for no bother, and then I was going, I'm going to do it.
I have been trying to run recently, like, and it's a struggle, you know, Danny, when you go back running, man, that first 2
I'm struggling. I'm trying to get back into it. It's fucking hard.
It's a struggle, like, but I love it. I fucking love it. I have no problem going out doing 10-15 kilometers, like, and absolutely just coasting and loving it. So I was thinking, I would actually like to do that, Mike.
Do it, man. Come on, that's it. We've started now. Danny, you're coming back from Tenerife to do it as well, all right?
Hold on,
get the fucking flights, 15th of June.
I might do it, man. When is it?
Yeah, man.
15th of June. If you can,
let me look into it.
Yeah, man, that'd be fucking deadly.
I'm doing a one on the 25th, a 5K. Man, I've done no running for it, but like, just on what you said, I swear to God.
Man, I chance a 5K now, you know.
I've done a 42K, which is a marathon, yeah?
This is it, you know. That's when you said that, I was like, fuck it, I'm doing the 8K.
It's fucking hard, right? Yeah. And I've been in a cage getting my head pounded. That last 7K of that fucking, of the marathon, it was a million times worse than anything I've ever experienced. But I tell you this, right? I went for a run the other day. It was a 5K, and it felt like the fucking marathon.
Hey, I'm just gonna jump in there, Mick. It's 8K through muck and obstacles, right?
Oh, yeah,
which is around 20K on the road. You know what I mean? On a nice summer's evening.
Listen, man, you're meant to be encouraging me here. I don't hear your shit, all right? You know what I mean?
It's like you casually throw it out there.
No, the 5K. What I was saying was the 5K. I didn't casually throw the 8K at all. As I said, it's akin to saying I'm gonna scale a fucking mountain for my birthday, and like, you know what I mean? Obviously, I'm not going. That's where I came from. And then just through this conversation, Danny talking about running a marathon. You know, us talking about, you know, this is a good friend of mine who's doing something that's not revolving around alcohol for his birthday, and I'm going, if I don't get involved in that shit, you know what I mean? What the fuck? You know what I mean? And so I think, no, I'm gonna set that goal. I'm gonna do it. You know, like, it might take me fucking 3 hours. Drag myself over. But fuck it. You know what I mean? I'm gonna take part, man. You know.
The lad here, right? He's turning 50, yeah, and he's gonna do 50. Wait to hear this. He's 50 years old. I go out biking with him. I did last year. I did a 5-hour. Similar thing where we're doing 5 hours solid for charity, burpees, sprinting, carrying bags for 5 hours, from 5 a.m. till 10 a.m. I never was in so much pain afterwards. But he's now doing, for his 50th, 50 kilometers, right? And every 10 kilometers, he's doing 50 different types of exercise, 50 times, 50 repetitions.
Shit. Is he doing it on his motorbike?
No. All right, easy, Tiger. You know what I mean? Talk about getting carried away, you know.
Running 10K, 50 push-ups, 50 burpees.
Has he been running in the sun? No, is that the issue? But fair play, man.
Oh, here, man. It's mental. Like, mental. 50 years old.
On that positive note, shall we wrap it up, boys?
Yeah, that's nice.
I got some stuff to do, but listen, I just wanted to say something, because I had a look at the stats on our podcast the other day, and I just realised that it's been downloaded in 35 different countries. That's fucking cool. So that's great. Thanks so much to anyone that has downloaded or even listened. Or it's amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, big time. And where can they find us, Carl?
Oh, hit us up on the Instagram. Come and chat to us and hit us up with some questions or and that kind of stuff. At That's Good Crack podcast on Instagram. Facebook, sorry, is just That's Good Crack. You'll get it.
And the old Twitter, it's that_crack. And over to Michael to give us the score on the Gmail.
Our Gmail is 3 as in the number 3, drylads@gmail.com.
Fucking I'll never accept
Shut
that.
up about the fucking
Oh God, I don't know what it sounds like.
It's fucking recorded. You going? That's deadly.
I did say it was deadly.
You did, and all it was the fucking number 3. You wanted to write the letters as in spell out 3, and it was the number 3, and you haven't been happy since. That's all it is. Get the fuck over it.
It's all right. Nick.
3 dry lads.
Let's have a virtual hug.
Stop, Danny, will you? It's bad enough for the 3 dry lads email without sending out virtual hugs. I know. Here's one.
Sorry, lads.
Here you go.
What's up?
See you later, lads.
Hey, take care, boys.
Peace up, boys.
Don't forget to subscribe to That's Good Crack on iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, and wherever you're listening to it right now.